Hi, friends. This is Mrs. Sowash. I hope you had an awesome weekend. Today, I'm going to be walking you through how to complete our Day 6 Animal Research Project slides. Um, so, at this point, you should know quite a lot about your animal, but we're just gathering a little bit more information before we start our 5 paragraph essay tomorrow. So, today we're going to be focusing on the questions: what is the behavior of your animal? As well as, I think I have the most awesome animal because. So we'll start with the directions for our first slide here. What is the behavior of your animal? So, some questions to think about when you are filling this slide out. What is life like for your animal? What does your animal do all night? What does your animal do all day? Is your animal protective? Is your animal a loner? Give as much detail as you can. So, I see here that there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 boxes. And each of those boxes say that I need to write one sentence about the behavior of my animal. So altogether on this slide, I'm going to be writing 6 sentences. Okay, other questions I want to consider are down here at the bottom of the slide. So, how does this animal communicate? That is interesting. Does this animal have any strange habits? Does it do things that other animals don't do? Give as much detail as you can. Okay, so at this point, I'm going to go back to my example slide. I pulled a lot of my information from the National Geographic website, as well as the Smithsonian National Zoo website. I found that the Smithsonian had a lot of really good information, so I also went there to do some of my research. So, one of the questions I'm trying to answer is, what does my animal do all day? What does my animal do all night? So, often we think about, we're awake during the day and we sleep at night. I'm curious if that's how the giant panda is. So, I'm going to take a look at the Smithsonian website and I'm going to scroll down here to where it says sleep habits. I'm just going to read that to you. In the wild, giant pandas typically nap between feedings for 2 to 4 hours at a time, snoozing on their back or belly, either sprawled or curled. Hmm, that's really interesting that they only sleep 2 to 4 hours at a time. I think I might go back to my slides here, and I'm going to put that in as one of my interesting facts about their behavior. So I'm going to type in, they sleep for 2 to 4 hours at a time. Notice I have an uppercase letter at the beginning of my sentence as well as punctuation at the end of my sentence. When I'm done typing my sentence, I'm going to click outside the text box to make sure it stays in place. Okay, now I'm going to go back to my website and keep reading. While a giant panda is resting, it continues to defecate. Oh my goodness, defecate means to poop. That's super interesting. Pandas still poop when they're sleeping. That is definitely something unique to pandas. So I'm going to put that on my slides too. I'm going to click on another box. Doesn't really matter which one. I'm going to make sure that it's highlighted in blue. And I'm going to write, pandas poop while they sleep. I thought that was really exciting. So I made sure to put an exclamation mark. And again, I have an uppercase letter at the beginning of my sentence. I click outside the box and go back to the Smithsonian website to see if there's anything else in that paragraph that I want to write about. The number of droppings at a rest site can be used to gauge the relative amount of time a giant panda spent at that site. During a short rest of less than 2 hours, there are 5 to 10 droppings. 11 to 25 droppings often accompany rests lasting longer than 2 hours. Most rest periods are 2 to 4 hours in duration, but may increase to 6 or more hours during the summer months. Okay. I don't really think there's anything else I want to add to my slides about their behavior from there. But let's revisit my questions. Is your animal protective? Is it a loner? Okay, so those questions I have in my mind as I'm looking through Eyesight. Huh. Social structure. That's probably going to tell me about if the pandas are a loner or not. So I'm going to read. Adult giant pandas may be generally solitary, but they do communicate periodically through scent marks, calls, and occasional meetings. Recent research has also found that giant pandas may form communities of 7 to 15 individuals within the local population. These individuals occupy a group territory within which male ranges overlap almost completely, while female home ranges overlap far less. Members of different groups generally avoid socialization with each other. Offspring stay with their mothers from 1.5 to 3 years. Okay. I'm going to look at the National Geographic website and see if it says anything about that. Behavior and habitat. Okay. Wild pandas live only in remote mountainous regions in central China. These high bamboo forests are cool and wet, just as pandas like it. They may climb as high as 13,000 feet to feed on higher slopes in the summer season. Pandas are often seen eating in a relaxed sitting posture with their hind legs stretched out before them. They may appear sedentary, but they are skilled tree climbers and efficient swimmers. I actually saw something about the way pandas eat on the Smithsonian website too, so I'm going to go back there. I'm going to try and revisit and see what I read about that. A panda usually eats while sitting upright, in a pose that resembles how humans sit on the floor. This posture leaves the front paws free to grasp bamboo stems with the help of a pseudo thumb formed by an enlarged wrist bone covered with a fleshy pad of skin. Interesting. So that was in both websites. I think I'm going to make sure to put that in here. Okay, so I'm going to make sure to have an uppercase letter at the beginning of my sentence, and I'm going to type, pandas look like a person sitting when they sit and eat. They use their front legs like hands to hold bamboo. Period. Great. Okay, and I have 2 sentences there, so I have 2 periods and 2 uppercase letters. Okay, I think I'm done with that fact. All right, I also saw they're generally solitary. I think I saw that on the National Geographic site too. Yeah, so it says giant pandas are solitary. Solitary just means that they like to be alone. But the Smithsonian said that the babies do stay with their mothers for about a year, year and a half. So I'm going to write that here. Pandas live alone except when they are babies. Then they live with their mother. Okay, again, I have 2 sentences, 2 uppercase letters, 2 periods. Got it. Okay, I'm done with that. So at this point, I have 4 facts. I need 2 more things to plug in. So let's see. What do they do during the day? Oh, look. The giant panda has an insatiable appetite for bamboo. That means that they are really hungry for bamboo all the time. A typical animal eats half the day, a full 12 out of every 24 hours, and relieves itself dozens of times a day. Wow. Okay, so during the day, they mostly eat. That's crazy. They spend 12 hours of everyday eating. So I'm going to write that. Pandas spend most of the day eating bamboo. That's crazy that they spend 12 hours eating. I can't imagine. Okay, so now I just have one more fact I need to plug in here. So I'm going to revisit the Smithsonian website. Oh, communication. That might be a good behavior to to share. I'm just going to read through that. Giant pandas do not exhibit body characteristics that communicate visual signals. They have round, inexpressive faces. Their tails are stubs and therefore cannot flag signals to other giant pandas. They have no crest or mane to erect, and their ears are not flexible enough to cock forward or flatten. It is thought that giant pandas never developed these visual accessories due in part to their habitat and solitary nature. So it's sounding like they don't need to communicate a whole lot because they're always by themselves. I think that's pretty interesting. Okay, so I'm going to go to my last box, make sure it's highlighted in blue. I'm going to say, a panda's ears do not move and don't add expression to the face. Okay, and there you have it. I have all 6 boxes full now. And I think we have a pretty good idea of how pandas behave. So now I'm going to go on to my next slide. It says, I think I have the most awesome animal because, this sounds like it's my opinion. So I'm just going to tell why my animal is so great based on the research I've done and what I've learned about my animal. So I know here it says write 1 sentence in each box. So I'm going to have 4 sentences total. All right, maybe a little bit more. So in my first box, I'm going to highlight it and I'm going to say, there are 1,864 pandas in the wild. They are vulnerable, not endangered. I think most people think pandas are endangered, but they're vulnerable, not endangered. There's a big difference there. All right, and then I'm going to click on my next box. I'm going to say, pandas might live alone, but they have groups that are like a neighborhood. So we read about that. I'm going to click on my next box. Pandas are bears that mostly eat plants. And then my last box. Pandas mostly live alone in a foggy forest. That's why panda bears are so awesome. I'm going to click outside the box, and there you have it. That's why I think pandas are so awesome. I think they're really unique creatures. And that's it for today's slides. I hope you enjoyed, and good luck.